obviously you're an older athlete. It takes a lot for you to get ready. Do you think that there's too much about it, that people make too much of a big deal of what it takes for you to be able to perform at your level?
I think last year at the end of the year we found a pretty good routine that works. We're going to continue to build on that and just take it kind of day by day. I mean, I think, it's on a how you feel that day kind of basis. We've started a program that seems to be working so far, and then it's just a matter of now maintaining and taking the maintenance days to make sure that you do get the proper rest because, you just don't recover the way you'd like to. And, sometimes mentally you just have to kind of say, hey, I need a rest today and come back stronger the next day.
Is there anything unique to your rest routine that you've learned over the last few years that works for you, or especially when you were debating this off season, anything new you've incorporated?
Not really. I think it's just based on, how I feel that day. And, obviously with the history that I had last year, we've got a routine that seems to be working. And then, I think it's just going to be, like I said, it's going to be a day-to-day thing where some days you're going to feel great when you get out of bed, other days you're going to get out of bed and everything's going to hurt. And then it's just a matter of figuring out what the best way to navigate that.
Craig, when you were at the podium last week or whenever that was, you mentioned that teams said you weren't good enough back in the day. Just what? Those memories just seared in your head, the things you heard about yourself?
No, I think, negative self-talk and negative media is always been there, and it's always going to be there, whether it's myself or any other player. And it's how you, take that and, motivate yourself with it. So everybody has their own way of motivating it, but there was a time where I went through waivers 3 times in 2 weeks. There was a time I got sent back to the minors, and that might not be a message saying, hey, verbally, or hey, you're not good enough, but it is a message saying, hey, you've got some work to do. And you can take that 2 ways. You can take it as I'm a minor league guy and I'm going to be pissed off at the world, or you can take it and say, hey, where do I look at myself? Where can I improve? And what are they seeing that I'm not seeing that I need to kind of reflect on? And that's kind of the message, is that there's always going to be somebody that says you're not good enough in some way, shape, or form. It's how you're going to take that message and turn it to make it a positive for yourself.
Is that a conversation you've had with Eric, maybe? Because he's had kind of a similar thing happen like the last year or so.
I haven't looked too much into his, kind of his storyline of how he's gotten to where he is now, but it's definitely a conversation that could happen if that's something that he wants to have. Like I said, I'm here to help everybody, whether it's a goalie, player, skater. It doesn't matter. My experiences are my experiences, and nobody else here in this room should make the same mistake I did. If they make their own mistakes, so be it. But if it's something that I've made that I can kind of help them with, let's get them further ahead than they need to be.
When you signed with the Sabres last year, I'm sure you talked to Kevin and you were excited. But could you imagine it would be this good of a fit? It just seems like it's the right time for you to be on them, the right, they needed you, you guys needed each other, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, when that conversation happened, it was one of those where, they were in limbo of what they were going to do with a goalie situation. I didn't know if I was going to play or not play. Sometimes you don't know when the pieces are going to fit, but when they do, it's magical. And I felt that the conversation and the relationship now that's kind of grown with management and myself, the coaching staff and myself, as well as the players and everybody in this room, it seems like, I keep looking at myself and saying I wish I was 10 years younger, because it is such a great fit and a great spot to be in. And for me to be a part of this growth and to be part of the solution that they're looking for, I'm honored and I'm humbled by it.
Are you a big routine guy? Like a daily start? I don't know if you're different.
I try not to be. I mean, I think I've got a few things that I feel I have to do on a daily basis. If they don't happen, it's not the end of the world. And I just kind of roll with it sometimes. And there's times when I've been a certain occasions where you don't take a pre-day nap and you don't warm up properly and you get thrown into the game halfway through the first and you play lights out and you're like, all right, well, I guess I don't need any of that. And then, there's days where you do everything right and things don't go your way. So, again, it's trying to be consistent with some sort of routine, but not being overly engaged in it where it kind of debilitates you.
A lot of guys over the past year have talked about Rasmus Dahlin growing as a leader. What have you seen in the way he carries himself in that regard that stands out to you?
The guy shows up every day. I think that's number one thing that anybody can do, whether you're, whether you want to be a leader or not. The guys that show up every day are the guys that we all look up to and say, he might be tired, he might be sore, but he's the guy that's here doing the work. And I think that speaks, speaks very loudly as far as his character and where he wants to go and where he wants to be part of this team going.
What's it been like getting to know Eric over the last few months?
It's good. He always has a smile on his face. We've had obviously casual conversations from every day in passing here, and there's always a new story or a new ad lib that comes up as far as his experiences and my experiences, and it's just kind of been very lighthearted, good conversations.